May the Most High creator of all bless us. There's a reason why everything is put in fairy tale or mythicized here. My poor people, they make us believe that there's no such thing as the Most High, the creator of all. You know, he's not up in the sky, and it's only within. I'm the only God. You know, heaven is not outside, it's within, and all this stuff like that. I'm going to put it in a perspective. A lot of people don't really think. They just go off of their first brain. Like, if it sounds good and it makes sense in a way, then they'll go with it, as long as the person sounds strong in their convictions. This is why you have to know, you have to try spirit by the spirit, man. Because a lot of people don't actually know what's going on. And a lot of people are hurt, and they've been through their own experiences, and through their own experiences, physical experiences and psychological, meaning what they've been through physically and emotionally, they will come to conclusions that they know what they're talking about for the spirit realm. When they're so young and fragile, they know not. But things sound good, and since no one can prove anything spiritually, they get to sound good and fly with it. People will flock to it, especially people who was trying to learn. See, the thing is, if you knew what you were talking about, then you knew that there's a Most High, because the Most High of all are a series of virtuous ways, and it's so bright. These people think that these words are just words, but they are actual principalities of things. They're powers that be. Like I said, the earth mimics what goes on in a galaxy. So when we talk about this God and stuff like that, we don't see it here. Why? Because we never knew it. We knew it by certain different ways, but we fell from certain ways because people who were in high places, they realized that if they channel that power, that divine power that they find out into them and their dynasty, then they can rule the world for generations to generations, which the Illuminati and the illuminated ones have been doing, blocking us off from the real source of the Most High. So the ones at the bottom of the pyramid, we don't know anything, we are lost. But there's order, okay? That's what I'm saying. The light, the powers of the light and the Most High is about order. Okay? They're trying to rearrange that from chaos, but it's order, all right? And virtuous ways. This is why every culture tried to uplift their culture and their peoples with divine virtuous ways. Where do you think they got it from? I'm going to explain that in a couple of ways. See, the light, it shines, right? Spiritually, it shines. All these virtuous ways are ways to go back towards the heavens. See, the thing is, everyone speak of the heavens. Every culture in different places talk about the heavens, not just religiously, but spiritually as well. That's why you see there's pyramids in every continent and different cultures and stuff like that. And a lot of them align with the stars and stuff like that, because that was the zodiac, the star systems, the heavens from which they came. So there's a story of a transaction between beings that came from these places down here and vice versa. But there's a war that we're in. And when they keep you asleep, you will forever be the slave. Your soul, your very soul, is the main target. So they got to keep your flesh and your mental, all right? The ego, they have to keep it blind from the true world, which is the spirit world. That's how I stay neutral in a lot of things, because there's so much misunderstanding and misconception of spirituality, whether there's a God or not, the language, the religion, and all these different things that they confused us with. Confusion, chaos and confusion goes together. We are lost. So you have to remain neutral in everything. You just can't be like, okay, this religion is right, they're wrong, this wrong, and you stand back. Obviously, you have your principalities and your ways intact. You know morally, spiritually right from wrong. Use that as your ruler, your stick, to measure what is right from wrong. You know with your heart. That's what you use. Let the wisdom of the heart, the pure wisdom of the heart, guide your way through the darkness, the spiritual darkness, because it's real. This is why I report all the time on the light, because the light is actually illuminary beings, very powerful beings, that it's in a... Here on earth, humans use the things that I talk, they mythicize things, like I say, they make it sound fairy tale or religious, all right? And sometimes even religious people don't really believe certain aspects. They use certain things and they use it for spiritually philosophical ways, you know, which is still good, because they can, in a sense, they're at base level to know how to treat each other within community. But if you're going beyond that, there's a door you go through and you realize that you're here for much more. You're here for a divine purpose that might be so hearkening that many would fall, because there's a war going on. Being in the light doesn't mean this beautiful thing that you get to dance and you glow and you float through the heavens and that's it forever. And there's actually things that certain illuminated ones, they understand that, okay, there's a war between beings for souls and different things like this, and they're crossing the divine order. There's a divine most high of all that cannot be touched. A realm of its own. There's many different levels of heavens. There are different heavens. What we call the heavens are the galaxies. There are billions of galaxies. Some we can't even reach in the flesh. So you have to understand that these ancient ones, all right, they were trying to set up these pyramids in a way where it's designed to take you back from your star galaxy, from where you were. And how did you get back there? By teaching the ways of how to get back in that divine order that you once fell, that you once were, that you fell from to this earth. Remember, we have been tainted. The ego is beside us and always with us. We have to overcome that. All right? In order to go back to the divine, we have to be pure, purified. And how does it begin? Through righteous ways. And through the people. When you let that progress here, it will finally be heaven as it is in heaven, so on earth. It will be connected. But right now it is not connected. Why? Because we have been corrupted. There's corruption. So in the midst of a war that's going on, there's a destiny of man. Okay? It is written in the stars. People don't know horoscope. They don't know astrology and different things. Once again, religion will have you thinking that, oh no, that's witchcraft and all that. No, this is divine science. If you don't know the science behind a lot of things, you will be scared of a lot of things. Like I said, you know right from wrong. So when you venture off and you start learning about these things, realize that you're a warrior. You're stepping into a zone that many would fear to do. But in order for them to know what's going on, they would have to have somebody that's seen the dark side for themselves, so to speak, that understands what goes on. This is why you don't cross that boundary, because once you go over there, such and such happen, and it would destroy the order. It's all about order. Remember, everything was created at once, from the source, from the light, from the Most High. Everything was created. So knowledge is not new. It's just relearning the order in which things come, or the steps, or the levels. A lot of religious people don't even understand the meaning of Jacob's ladder. But in Freemasonry they do. See, a lot of different things they take and they hide and they use certain energies for powers. All corruption. All corruption. That's why you have to break away from all of this stuff. You have to break away from all of your beliefs, your thoughts, and realize, like, put it like this: how can you, your soul, be from this planet alone? Do you know the energy of the soul is made to be in many other places? You can be, your thought in the spirit world. You can be in many of the different billions of galaxies and all that, in whatever shape or form in the soul world. So how can you just be from here? They don't want you to think otherwise. They want to trap you here so you can keep recycling here, to keep fulfilling work here. The business of the spirit world has nothing to do with this world, but they want to keep regenerating, and they have people that have been trapped here for eons. There's poor souls. Remember, I told you I've been to a psychic lady, and a psychic lady told me many things, man. First of all, when she let me in the apartment was open, the door. And I came in, and she wasn't even in the front, but her little kids was in the front. And I was walking around her living room looking at these strange books and these strange things, right? And she came out, and I was like, you trust me enough for me to come to your house and you got the door open? First time you ever met me. You know, off GP, I never called you. I just knew your address off your card. I just came here and all that. She was like, I looked through the window and I saw your aura, and you have a blue aura, which is a loving, peaceful aura, you know, a good aura. So she got me with that, you know, and I was skeptical, never believed in anything. So I'm like, what's up with all these books and stuff like that? Because I'm real skeptical, you know. I said this before, but yeah. She uses, but she explained to me where I was from, like what country I was born in, the conversation I had with certain people, exact conversations that I had with people, what's going on with me, what happened with me to make me a certain way that I was. Everything was to the T. And I was like, yo, how do you know all this? That's what shocked me. You know, I started asking her questions. I'm like, nah, this is supernatural for real. And through whatever rituals and stuff she explained to me that she is able to see spirits, and and she has like about 7 around me right now, all floating around me, telling her about me right now. And she was just like, whatever they was telling her, like she was like, of course you can't see them or hear them, but I can. You know what I mean? And I was like, why do they do this? Like, do you have control over them and stuff like that? She was like, it's more of a mutual understanding, like through whatever rituals and words and stuff that she does. She's in a spiritual contract with them, like, okay, they're able to take, in order for this divine knowledge, because you remember in the spirit world, the past, present, and future, which she was explaining, there is no past, present, or future. Everything is on one timeline, so they can literally go back to our so-called past and see the past and all this stuff and whatever, and come to the present and go to the future, so they know what's going to happen. So in order for them to report this in exchange for a piece of their soul each time, you know what I mean, it's a contracted amount. They take peace and stuff like that. And she was like, yeah, and you would start seeing it, because she gets rings around her eyes, like if she's drawing too much energy, because you know it's a business, so she'll do it for the money in order to feed her family and stuff like that. And they were just giving her information about me. And when she told me about the argument I had with my mother, and she threw that candle at me, that candlestick, that green glass candlestick thing at me, and I ducked, and she was punching on me. I got into it with my mother, and she got mad at me, and the reason why, and all these things. I was like, who told you this? Like, did somebody come here and report this before I came, right? And she was letting me know things, because I wanted to know about the future, you know, what the Illuminati had in store for man. And, you know, she was like, that's too vast, you know, the future of the world and stuff like that. That's too big. I could only tell you about you. So that's when I started getting, like, you know, real agitated. Like, what can you tell me about me that I never told you, you know? And then when she started telling me, I got shocked, and it sat me down. Like, I really sat down in that chair, and I was like, man, what's going on, like how you knowing this and doing this, man. And she let me know how long I've been coming back to the earth, how old my soul was, 700,000 years old, certain things that I got to do, certain things that I will fulfill in the future of being, different things. So it was like, when I started reporting on the light, and then different people started telling me about the light, like the lady at my job when she was about to fall off the docks here in Chicago at Navy Pier, and an invisible force stopped her and pulled her back onto the dock before she hit the waters. And she was, because she was busy lighting a cigarette, a square, and not knowing, she tripped over the docks and was about to fall in. And her friend seen this divine phenomenon that happened, and she called her in front of me, and lo and behold, her friend told me the story exactly like how she was telling me. And the other story about the woman Helena Knox, she used to do sacrifices, blood sacrifices for the government and different things, man, because there's almost like 700 to 1 million people, men, women, and children, that's missing, being kidnapped each year. Families, whole families, people, individuals, men, women, and children. And they're doing many things. Remember, this is a business. This continent is really a pirate ship, and they have to do large sacrifices to the entities that keep them in power. So under our noses, there are things going on that will make you cry and throw up. But there are people out here that believe that this is a beautiful world. It has the potential, because you are a beautiful person, and there are beautiful things to see. But don't get the illusion of what you're seeing in this world cloud your judgment. There's real life evil. There's a real life war. And just because this war hasn't touched your family doesn't mean that it's not right under your nose and it can't happen to you, and it doesn't happen. There are families being murdered and sacrificed for these energies, and they know this. So these corporations posing as countries, and these principalities posing as governments, they're doing this to us. So Helena Knox used to do sacrifices, right? And she said many has been sacrificed. Even these Christians, they sacrificed Christians many times, and she would get so mad. She said when they used to say, like, well, I believe in God and the blood of Jesus and nothing will harm me, and they used to target religious people the most because of that, because they work for the dark side, and that it really exists. You could call on certain names and those things would come, but sometimes people feel like, I called on God so many times and God never showed up. Therefore, I don't believe in that. So I believe in many other different deities and stuff like that. Clouded judgment. And religion has us in a confusion as well, because there are people who believe in these books and these different gods from these books and stuff, and they were dealt with the worst. They sacrificed priests, preachers, people that was in the who attended the church in different towns. They killed so much different people, children that goes to daycares and stuff like that. And she wrote a memoir about it, and she said, but there were many people, like I always say, there were many people who right before they got killed, they were taken up by a light, like a star would come down from the sky with enormous speed, and it would be two lights. It would take the light, a light would come out the victim's body that we're about to sacrifice, and it would be two lights, and it would shoot back up into the sky with magnificent speed. And if you go back into some of my videos, you would see the speed that they operate with. This happened to me. One day I broke down and I started going into the ancient Kemetic ways of the heart, and the different realms of, before man was actually physical and went to, be in the different realms and stuff like that. And I learned about the heart, and I was really, when I went into the heart, that's what I realized, the heart is the way. I broke down the heart, I drew it, and I was at work. I skipped lunch, everything. I drew it, I wrote out the meanings and how it portrays, like, from the spirit world, and then what it means in the flesh, and then from the flesh and the medical terms, and then it breaks down to the moralic ways. So it's like there's many different layers that people don't understand. Like, why is the heart the way? I don't get it and all that. The heart just beat and all that. But that's what I said. The Illuminati and stuff, they're very intelligent. They use their scientific ways, but they also hide their spiritual ways to keep themselves in power and to keep the Most High or so-called God away from you, because they know it exists. All right? God is like the energy of all, and is supreme, pure, and neutral to all different circumstances. That's why it doesn't really interfere unless it has a reason and an order. All right, that's why the belief, this is where the belief comes in. You have to believe that you align with that source. All right, the source is pure, all love. We don't understand that type. It's a galactic love that we never could understand, but we are alive because of it. Beauty and justice, the highest of it all. Okay? So it's like when you're aligned in certain ways, you will be saved by either the pure evil ones because you're doing something in their favor and they need you, or the pureness, which is everlasting life, which is the opposite of what they want. That's why they hate us, because we are beacon of light, all of us, and they want to distinguish that light. Okay, so we have to understand that even if you're in a religion, there are people who are empty shells. Truly, they just they chose a religion, they chose to live by that religion. They go, but they don't actually believe in the things that they kind of do. They just are like philosophical about it. Like a lot of these ancient Kemetic people in ancient Hebrew and these many ancient people that discuss these back and forth things of what it means. I understand this more than this. All just religious gurus and religious how should I put it? Religious philosophical, people of religion. You know what I'm saying? Religious philosophers. Okay, debating about which religion is this and that, and they're missing the whole boat. There are things that goes on in the play, and you can see it act out in real life. Some you might have to look into the supernatural and the spiritual. Just let the heart beat away. You might see somebody like me. I'm coming on here and I'm confessing all the time what I've been through spiritually. Like, I really seen this stuff. I seen my soul. I seen that some of these things that you see is like made up, that people talk about, like these things that you call angels. These things are not soft looking, man. These things are beasts. They're warriors, or at least the ones that encountered me and helped me when I saw the one of the Grim Reapers when they came after me. Like I said, dealing with the girl with black magic, I was privy to see what goes on. I seen souls. That lets me see it's a business. The business of souls. They got many that can't escape these beings. They use it for fuel, literally. That's why they smell like sulfur and gasoline. It's an eternal pain that they have, and it's quenched when they burn the souls of us. Those are the lesser demons. So you can imagine the powers of the higher ones. This world is like bleach. Little that people know. It ain't sweet rivers and dandelions and all this stuff. That's why I try to tell people, it may sound weird, but I'm trying to tell you, this is a spiritual war where you pick up swords and blades and stuff. But in the physical world, we can't do these things. We get injured. We get, it's politics involved. There's many things that hold us down here physically, trap our minds. We're in a system that is just generated, that lost the humanity. The face of humanity has lost its face. we're literally like AI now. And I just seen a video of a guy, man. He made TikTok. See, let me tell you about TikTok. TikTok, you can't edit TikTok. TikTok is something like as soon as you record it and you got it's on TikTok, it goes to TikTok. So unless you're acting out something, you're acting out something with somebody else. But there's been a viral video of a guy, he's dead now, but he recorded a giant in the mountains in Canada, and every time he rode past, he saw like this giant or like UFO glowing thing that's coming down to pick the giant up and stuff like that. And then the military started coming there with their huge tanks, huge tanks, and started coming up there and searching the area, and they had helicopters with these large nets to pick up but the guy's dead now, you know what I mean? And he was forced to make a video on another one saying that it was fake, but then he came back on saying it was real, and then he showed another video of the tanks going up to that same mountain where it was those sightings of UFOs and giants. So there are many things going on in this world. You remember I told you these so-called old gods are coming and all this stuff like that. These different dimensional gods and different things are coming. And I saw the video. I saw the TikTok video, the giant and the things, and yes, these giants exist all over the world. I seen a video where a lady in Mexico was looking out her window, looking across the mountains and seeing this giant, this huge humanoid being walking past, like, yo, this person is huge. Like, to be able to see this person tall and huge on the top of a mountain. I seen the spirits, I seen demons, all type of different things. I seen the light in its work, and through my experiences, even with going to the psychic, even with hearing different people's testimonies and stuff like that. Even the lady who worked amongst the government and witnessed these murders and participated and seen that there were people that was taken up by the light. Isn't that glorious? It gives you something to look forward to. What does this fake world have you looking forward to? A bigger paycheck, a better house, and then you after these humans. A lot of people do things to impress each other, to be known, to be famous, to be luxurious, to be comfortable. So do you see now why this ancient knowledge was so sacred that they had to put it in these secret places, like places of so-called worship and different things? It was because these beings, these higher beings, knew what was going to happen here on earth from the corruption. So they set out certain paths with certain gurus to follow and show man in their absence all over the world. Do you think it's a coincidence that all these pyramids were built all over the world? There's some under the water, above the water, and these are different places that represented the star system that was they were acquainted with, the back and forth. A lot of people don't understand that these weren't just tombs, these were portals.